Welcome to Eagle Eye Prepping Late Night Edition. Okay, I have company today. So we're going to talk about our recent camping/survival practice weekend. Okay, shout out to Lead Farmer 73. He recently converted his trailer into a bug-out vehicle, and he inspired us to do the same. We didn't cut out any holes for windows and all of that fanciness, but we definitely wanted to see if what we had was sufficient for us to survive in case of an emergency. So, we're going to talk about the planning process, okay? The planning process, I was brought into that, okay? When you first thought about the planning process, what was your first thought? Would you think it out yourself, or did you bring me in? I can't remember at what point you brought me in.
So yes, the planning process, I took it on myself.
Damn.
Listen to what I'm saying now.
All right. We love each other, y'all. Go ahead, babe.
Because I wanted to kind of think in my head and to get everything how it should be and how it should look first before I presented it to the family, before I had the family come in and join. And once I thought about it and had everything the way I thought it should go, then I had my wife come in and then help me with the planning process. So that's how the planning process started.
Oh, Lord. Yes. Yes. And it was a fun process. I really enjoyed really him taking the lead and, just kind of bringing me in after he had everything all mapped out because, I got a lot going on. But it was actually a very easy process once he had it all mapped out on a really high level. Then our conversations got down to a more granular level, and we were able to develop tasks and really outline the trip really well before we had to head out, so that we'll have enough time to order any things that we needed and prepare any other things that we needed. So, yeah, good job, babe. That was awesome. So, again, the purpose of us converting the trailer was so that we can determine if we had to pick up and leave in an emergency, where would we go, how would we get there, and how will we be able to really, where would we lay our heads at night if we weren't able to reach a particular destination. So we used a trailer, a really big trailer. Can you tell them the size? Because, I don't know.
Yeah. So background on the trailer. I have a business that I use the trailer for. It's a utility trailer. It's a 26-foot long trailer. Lead Farmer, I think he has a trailer that's about maybe 8 by 16, something like that. It's like a U-Haul trailer where Lead Farmer uses. But my trailer is big enough where I can haul freight, cars, and all that kind of stuff in there. So the point of of using that trailer is to use what you have. And so the point was, if I'm not working a trailer and there's a situation where the family needs to pack up our stuff and get out to go somewhere, because of maybe a natural disaster or some political event or something that requires us to leave where we are to go to another place, can we survive in that trailer? And so there's no modifications to the trailer. It's just an open cargo area, but it's large enough to put all of our utilities in there and for us to live inside of it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, when we first talked about it, I was just like, how is this going to happen? I had no idea, but I knew that you knew. So I had complete faith that it was going to happen. And it did. It actually did. I mean, I couldn't see the whole thing, but, his brain is a little different than my brain. So he was able to see it all the way through because, of course, he has experience with tools. I'm just really excited that we were able to have this experience. Is really important because the main thing that really bothers me is you get on these channels on YouTube and everyone's like, oh, make a bug out bag, make a bug out bag. And it's like, well, what do you do once you have that bug out bag? Do you have a plan? Where are you going to go? And so from this exercise, we were able to take our bug out bags and see if we truly could survive on the 3-day supply that we have in these bags. And so the only modification that we made was to the clothing. We had some clothing it was lightweight, but it was long sleeve or pants. And so we switched it out because we knew we were going to be under a heat advisory this particular weekend. So it didn't make sense to take that long clothing. So we switched it out for some cooler ones. And that was our first lesson in this process. We learned that you need to stay on top of the seasons when you are changing seasons, changing your wardrobe. Also, take a look at your Bugout bag and see if there are things that you may want to switch out to be more appropriate for the season. So that was our first lesson.
Not only for the season, also your Bugout bag should be according to how or whatever situation it is, or what kind of area that you're going to. If you may be going to a wooded area, if you're going to a urban area, you need to tailor your Bugout bag to your situation. So that's what I think. That's what you're saying there too.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because a wooded area, even in the summertime, a long sleeve item would be long sleeve or longer pants would be appropriate to help protect your skin from whatever may be lurking in the woods. You're absolutely right about that. So, but also, climate consideration and just the geography. Is that the right word? I don't know.
Yes.
It's late. Okay. All right. Well, so some of the things that we did to prepare for the trip, we started out by cleaning out the trailer, making sure that we got out any dust or anything that was left over from the business. So we used a blower to clean it out before we started to store things or bring things in to store them for the trip.
Right. Keep the blower in mind. I went to Lowe's and got a battery powered blower, small blower.
Well, actually, you didn't go to Lowe's. You just went to big box store. Okay, we're not gonna shout out anybody on this channel. Okay.
Yes.
Well, I don't know.
And maybe if they give us an endorsement, right?
Maybe, who knows? So you went to big box store. Yeah. You got the blower.
I purchased the blower, and the blower is going to come in handy later. You'll find out why. Okay, so I had to imagine how I wanted to store the equipment that we have inside the trailer. So I made plans on how I was going to load the trailer out. Cleaned it out, got everything nice and organized, and then start loading everything that we got from the big box stores and so on and so forth. Loaded them and secured them inside the trailer.
And that was a process that, again, you told me, oh, hey, we're going to do this today. And I'm just thinking in my head, like, what? This is how I have to spend my Saturday? But it was worth it. We were very efficient with what we had to do. And you had it all mapped out. So we just worked the plan, and it happened rather efficiently, really right before a very serious storm occurred. So I was nice and dry in the truck, and he chose to hang back and do whatever. And so I don't know if you made it out dry, but I was nice and cozy.
Yeah, I've been with it before.
Of course. So anyway, so the process to plan was mapped out really well. We knew what we needed to do, and so we were able to complete it in the time frame that we expected. And so upon reaching the campsite, we noticed that immediately we were in more sunlight than we had hoped for.
Right.
So that was a challenge, just initially arriving at our campsite and realizing that it was just way more sun exposure. So right there, that goes to the prepping pillar of energy and, how are you going to cool yourself? And so even though we felt like we were very prepared with all the things that we took with us, it was going to be a challenge for us to see if we could be able to keep ourselves cool enough under these conditions. with very minimal, I would say, modification. Yeah, we didn't modify anything.
We didn't
We
modify
just,
anything.
yeah, we just brought the items with us that we felt would be sufficient for cooling.
Right.
So
That came
yeah.
with that extensive planning that we did. And the reason that extensive planning paid off is because of that purchase of that blower. When we got there to the campsite, of course, the campsite was open. It wasn't wooded like we thought it was going to be. So that made it hot. As we got there, we had to go through dirt road. And the dirt road made everything inside the trailer dirty. So if I didn't have that prep, if I didn't have that blower, if I didn't have everything that I had planned for, that me and my wife had planned for on paper, written down, going through scenario by scenario of what kind of equipment we should bring from the house or what we might need to acquire to make this trip successful, we would have been stuck. So as soon as we got there, I had to clean the trailer again because it was dusty. Dust on top of dust on top of dust.
Yeah, but a great learning experience. I think one unique thing about this trip is that everything that we experienced that was unpleasant, nobody pointed the finger, nobody got upset. We just say, oh, next time, let's remember that this is going to happen, so we'll bring that or whatever. I mean, I really don't feel like we were really at a loss for anything, so that's probably not a good example, but the dust, that was something I wasn't expecting, but you weren't expecting it either, but
No.
you know about those conditions, so, just there's going to be things that pop up, and rather than get about it, just look at it as a learning experience for your next trip.
Oh, let's point out one thing. I just thought about it just as you said that. We had plenty of room for a lot of equipment. And one piece of equipment that we brought with us was a generator. This type of generator that we had is a ultra quiet generator. It's not like those traditional big ones that weigh maybe 150, 200 pounds. This one probably weighed at the most 100, maybe even 90 pounds. And with the sides enclosed, everything boxed up, it's real quiet. But because we chose a campsite, which was a state park, state parks don't allow generators to be operated, and especially during the quiet times. So we had to think of ways to work around that, not having the use of a generator, which worked out too because of the extensive planning that we did, covering different types of scenarios that may come up. And for the fact that we couldn't use a generator, we would still be able to keep ourselves cool because we had other connections that we could use for power. We had, what do you call those things, though? DC power thing? What do you call a jackery? What kind of power bank is that?
I don't know, child. It's just
Other sources of power
I just call you child.
that we
Sorry,
don't
honey.
that we don't need to use a generator for. So that's a
Right.
thing that you can be aware of as well.
Yeah, exactly. Just really anticipating various scenarios that could pop up and seeing if you have a way to work around those hurdles. But let's see. So as far as food is concerned, the first night we wanted to make sure that it was truly an emergency situation. So we ate emergency food. We had the MREs and the 12-year-old was complaining, but at the end of the day we said, look, this could be reality. If you are in a situation and you did not have access to the food at home or whatever, this is either you're going to starve or you're going to eat this, and you may not like it, but you have to accept it or you're just going to starve. And so, that exercise I think was very important because, that's, if you're in an emergency situation, you definitely don't want to get out there and realize that you're going to have to accept some things that you never thought of before. So, I think, but of course for you, that's just, it was not new to you.
It was not new to me because I've eaten MREs for years, and it turns out she liked the MREs.
We found some kind of raspberry thing, some kind of raspberry drink that was good. So Yeah, that was important. And of course, second night or second day we picked out. We had some stuff on the grill that I cooked. So it was a great experience. And I don't know, what are some of the things outside of maybe something I've already mentioned that you learned on this trip that you would encourage people to watch out for?
I learned the weather is a big factor in survival. Also, your health and your fitness is a big factor in survival. It does not hurt to get in better shape than what you may be in. The type of weather that we were in was very hot and humid. And not being in shape, not drinking water, that can really play a part of how much work you can get done, how you're feeling, how fast you get sick. You can succumb to heat strokes, those kind of things. You have to think about that kind of stuff too in a survival situation. So I think those were important factors that we didn't really consider until we actually got into the situation and had to experience it.
One thing that I really wanted to emphasize for all the folks with young children who, you might have your bug out bags ready and you're so proud of yourself, please do not be fooled, okay? Congratulations, you have a bug out bag. But unfortunately, if you don't have a plan after that, then it's useless, okay? You have to know whether or not you are actually ready to pick up and go. And you have to have a plan of where you're going to go, how you're going to sleep, shelter, food, all of that kind of stuff. You really have to be focused on that. So I would say to all the people who are packed and ready to go, have a plan about where you're going to go and practice what you're going to do. Okay, because that's the only way that we were able to find out that we actually did the right thing in our bags. Our bags lasted for us, okay? And the only thing that we said we did was just switched out the clothing based on the weather advisory that we were under, and we knew we were not going to be in any thick brush, any, forest type conditions. So we made that call, but you really have to focus on practicing getting away if getting away is your actual plan. I know everyone's prepping plan looks different. Some people may never plan to leave their home ever. Okay, and so maybe the bug out bag isn't the thing for you, or maybe you don't think it is, but everyone has their own prepping journey. So just think about all the things that you're prepping for and practice it. Okay, practice sheltering in place. If you actually believe that a shelter in place is the most likely situation for you, that's what you should practice. Don't go anywhere for a few days. Only use the food and the water that you have in your house and see how you do there. And then from that scenario, you can learn what you need to modify. But, it's not rocket science, y'all. Like, y'all are really giving up your power, and it's really unfortunate because things are really changing. And so I know we're supposed to be ending this because it's getting late. But any closing final thoughts that you would like to share with the people about the process of you, just putting this vision, just putting it out there and then bringing it to pass? Any final thoughts?
Okay. It all just starts with thinking about what it is you think you need to do in order to survive whatever situation you're thinking about. Write that scenario out on paper. Write out what you need to do to accomplish surviving in that scenario, and then try to get all the supplies and things that you need to prepare yourself for that scenario. Once you do that, involve your family in the plan, involve your family in the preparation, and then go practice it.
Well said, honey.
Thank you.
Well, I hope that you all found value in learning about our camping / survival practice weekend, mostly survival practice, okay? And we hope that you are inspired to do something similar, to put these things into practice. Don't just build it. See if you are up to the test. And if you're not, go back to the drawing board and figure it out and do better next time. Always remember, no one is coming to save you, but you absolutely have the power to save yourself.